Hello, I'm Brent, and today I'm making a video to show how to load tone prints into the BH250 head by TC Electronics, and doing it through the pickup on the bass. A couple quick tips that I found when I first started this. It took a little while to figure some of these out on my own, and I didn't find a ton of help on the internet. One of the things that's really important is to make sure that the volume is loud enough for the pickup to actually pick up and measure the tone print coming off of the phone. So what that means is the volume on your phone all the way up, the volume on the bass preferably all the way up, and then even on the amp it has to be loud enough for it to kind of pick up. Sometimes it's also just as simple as adding extra treble, just enough to kind of pick up the hissy tones, and you'll hear it here in a second when I actually load one of the tones through the bass. It helps if all that is a little higher. And also, if you're not directly on the strings, I found, with the phone. Don't actually touch the strings, get right above them and let it sit right above the pickup. And sometimes you even have to find the sweet spot on the pickup to find the best place for it to actually hear and register the transfer from the phone. Okay, so I hope you can see this okay. I wanted to get a little bit more of a close-up of where I place it on the pickup and how close and everything like that. So when you go to actually beam the tone print, bring it right down, like I said, right next to the strings. I usually don't touch them because, you know, sometimes it makes some extra sound that I don't want to screw up the actual loading of the tone. And then this whole thing here under my thumb is the button, and so you just tap it. And that's it. It's loaded. So I don't know how familiar you are with this particular app, Tone Print by TC Electronics, but easy to get a hold of. Obviously, it's in the App Store, but it's full of tons and tons of effects that you can directly apply to the head and also to pedals as well. And that's kind of a key point, and I'll get to that in a second. But many of the effects that they have been created or tweaked by major artists. Duff McKagan, Nathan East, Victor Wooten. They've all got, you know, their own little signature sound of a chorus or whatever. Today I'm going to actually go over 7 of the general categories that they have in here. They have more than that, but it's a compressor and a couple other things. I'm not going to get into that today, but I'm going to do the 7 that I think are the most normal, impactful, whatever you want to call it, that most people are going to use. So how it works is you pull up the sound that you want, the effect that you want, and you literally just hold it over the pickup of the bass, and it transfers that effect to the head. So when I do this, I make sure that the white knob for tone print, I keep it at 12 o'clock. It kind of activates it, so I know something's working, something's happening, and then I choose whichever effect I want and load it. One of the things you have to kind of pay attention to is, like I said, this works for bass heads as well as a number of their pedals as well. And make sure when you go into the app, you actually choose the correct device, the correct appliance that you're trying to alter. They list a bunch of their pedals, and if you scroll down under the bass section, as you go down, you'll see tone print bass amps. That's where you want to go, obviously. But it's kind of along with everything else, and so it might get overlooked. So make sure you go in there, and then once you're in there, then you'll have a list of all of the different types of sounds. Drive, chorus, flanger, octaver, stuff like that. And that's where you can go in, and there's even, when you go into those, there's even more. Let's get started. So the first one I'm going to use, I'm just going to start it kind of at the top. It's for drive. And as of right now, which they keep updating this, which is great, as of right now, they have 4 different ones. I'm going to go with the grind. Turn everything up. Okay, that's clean tone. Nothing's changed. I've kept the EQ on the head. It's flat. Hold it up to the pickup. Okay, and now the little green light has stopped flashing. So it's loaded. It's that easy. And cool. Yeah, it sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty good. Let's hear how it sounds with some drums. The function of the white knob on the head here is to affect its presence, or also to alter the effect in some way. Maybe a delay speeds up or slows down. It also sometimes adjusts the intensity. So in this particular case, with this kind of overdriven, kind of heavy, distorted sound, you add or take away varying amounts of distortion. So really fuzzy, really dirty. And then as I turn it back, scale it back, it cleans up a bit, still has a little edge to it. Okay, and then obviously you can even completely turn it off. It's clean. Okay, so next in line is the chorus. In this particular case, I'm going to choose Duff McKagan. Why not? See what kind of sound we can get from the Duff McKagan setting, chorus setting. And done. Nice. Let's turn it all the way up and hear how it sounds. I could almost hear a little Sweet Child of Mine into that. Okay, the next one up, at least that I'm going to try, is the flanger effects. And tons of different artists in here. I'm going to go with just the TC Electronics one and see if there's something in here, just classic flanger. Let's hear that. Very nice. Okay, so the next one on the list that I'm going to choose is an octaver. So we'll go into that, and again, I think I'm just going to go with the TC Electronics one and see what comes up. There's a bunch of them in here. Let's try a smooth up. Okay, so next on the list is the phaser. I'm going to actually go with Nathan East on this one. He has the romantic phase, and let's hear how it sounds. And next that I'm going to throw on here is a something under the vibe section. We'll go. Let's. How about vintage vibe? Cool. It's a kind of an envelope filter sound. A little funk. try it with some drums. Okay, last but not least, this final one here is vibrato. I'm just going to use one of the ones straight from TC. Let's do Variato and see how that sounds. Turn it all the way up and hear it. Okay, so that's pretty much it that I'm going to go over today. Like I said, I really just went over the ones that actually there were more effects. Like I said, there's compressors built in there, and then there's also one that it combines a couple things, so it might combine like a compressor and an overdrive or something like that. I didn't get into that today, but did the rest of them and just gave like one sample from each one. Again, hopefully it helps, especially the loading of the effect with the phone through the bass to the head and all that. I didn't have a ton of luck finding any information myself when I was trying to figure it out. Just kind of a lot of trial and error. But I hope this helps. Please subscribe, help me build this channel up, and I can keep bringing some, hopefully some great videos to you. Thanks.